Hey everybody, Mike Vacchi, PrincetonTrader.com here with your closing recap. It's about 4:30 p.m. here on Thursday afternoon. Got a 15-minute chart of the ES, and what was a very exciting morning kind of turned into a very boring afternoon. I put a chart out first thing in the morning, right on the open, and we had shorted earlier. We had shorted early in the room, the 45s, and what we saw was a push. Well, let me back up. What we saw initially was this inability in the overnight to get through 48. 48 former support becoming resistance. So that was key. It broke down from there off the open. You saw a little move down. Here's your open, and then a real hard fail, making new weekly lows down at 1834. Now, what's important here is that at that point, the 42 is broken. So you have to ask yourself, well, where are we going back to 42? Or are we going to 48? Our inclination was we would go ahead and try to touch 48 in the regular session. And we got long, the room was long. I was out of the office, but the room was long. We went back up. We touched the 48. We were able to catch another short back down. And we went down and we made a higher low versus the 34. Okay. At that point, we go up to test this 42 to 44 area, and we just get into this mess. I mean, it's tilting lower. It's great to look at a few hours later, but the reality is the entire afternoon was really just basically a six-handled choppy range, which on some days 6 handles is all you get. But after the kind of morning that we had, it felt really compressed and choppy, and we sat most of it out. What are we looking for tonight? My eyes are on 42 to 44 and then 48, both as potential resistance. On the daily, you can see that we did go down and touch this lower Bollinger Band. Now, I would caution you with respect to, fading that up on a very convicted longer term basis, at least until we see what tomorrow and potentially Monday brings. We are well below the middle band. That's at 1859. However, these bands are pretty compressed historically, not as compressed as the band in July, but they're pretty compressed. So you have to be careful that we don't do a touch and a move higher and then start to fade and spill out of these bands. So when the bands are that tight, the first touch on the band, whichever band is first, whether it's the upper band you hit when they're tight or the lower band they hit when they're tight, the first touch is generally a test, and then you get the real move in the next 1 to 2 days. So be cautious. A loss of 34 almost certainly sets up a test of the Russia lows at 23. What do the bulls need to do? The bulls need to get back over 48 with conviction and then get back to work on 59. The bulls have dug themselves a little bit of a hole. And while the afternoon was a draw, on the chart you'd have to say to yourself, well, the bears had a pretty good day. They left this kind of hammer here. So there's a lot more questions and answers going into tomorrow, but just remember 42 to 44 on the up, 48 is huge. On the downside, you got 34 to 35 that really needs to hold, and if it doesn't, you're going to see a lower Bollinger Band ride, at least initially, to 1823. Okay, have a fantastic night. Check us out on Twitter at Princeton Trader. If you missed any of the content today, any of the charts, any of the webcasts, go to PrincetonTrader.com, click on the blog on the blog button there on the homepage, and you can get caught up with everything. Come check out the website and come check out the chat room. We'd love to meet you. A lot of new people starting up and a lot of exciting stuff going on in there, so come check it out. I will be back tomorrow morning with another webcast. Trade them well.